Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2020. This is episode number 12. We are just about ready to get the new season started. In fact, the first games are just 1 day away, 24 hours away from the new season. We're going to take a brief look at the roster and see what we have because it's time to set our depth chart. Obviously, the top two players current ability is De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley III. Buddy Hield, Jake Walker, and Willie Cauley-Stein are the next three guys. And you can see there's two shooting guards and no small forward in that mix. But in terms of quality backups, Beasley, Barnes, Dedmon, all really good players. And then you've got Corey Joseph and Torrey Craig to fill out 5 quality backups plus a little bit of depth otherwise. So looking at that, look at those options. Let's go ahead and go into the depth chart and get things set for the upcoming season. Now you can see that Gabe actually prefers Harrison Barnes over Jake Walker. Not a chance am I letting the third pick in the draft get wiped out here and not be taken. Let's see. Are you going to work for me? No? That's weird. Let's see. Click. Oh, maybe we got to click it. There it is. Okay. Alright, so we're going to put Walker up there. But from the looks of the two, even though Walker is a few inches taller than Buddy Hield, I think Walker is going to be better suited as the shooting guard with Hield at small forward. And at least that's what we're going to try to do with that. So let's start with giving those minutes over to Walker. And I think we need to do a total revamp here in a whole lot of ways. Like I'd rather have him in at the end of the half and rest a little bit earlier. So, you know what, we're just going to go straight across the board, and then we're going to start giving some minutes away later. So he will not take all these minutes. He's not playing 48. Not happening. I think De'Aaron Fox at 40 is fine. Resting early second and fourth quarter, I'm okay with that. But we are going to take some minutes away elsewhere. Let's go ahead and go small forward for now. We'll set up Hield in the same way, and then we'll go back in and reset this. Now, let's see, is Malik Beasley, is that my... That's my other 2.5-star guy. I don't know why he is way down the order here. Okay. So looking at, we have our 2 deep, our 5 guys. After that, you've got Bol Bol, Rashawn Holmes, and Caleb Swanigan, meaning it's all post players with James and Phillips down in the G League. That does complicate things a little bit on setting those minutes. But never mind. Let's just go with it. So We have early second quarter. Do I want a total second unit in to start the season, or do we want to rotate players through? Sometimes it helps them develop when they have a full group to play with, and we kind of do have 5 players that are like that are capable. And a lot of other teams are going to do something similar. So let's just go ahead and go Beasley, Dedman, and lay Barnes over Holmes. No way do I want to give those minutes to him. Point guard, yeah, I'm okay with that. And small forward. I think I'll switch these guys off the second time around. Meaning Hilt's going to come back in a little bit earlier here, but then later we'll go for this. And I actually do like the idea of some late third quarter rest. So let's go small forward here. And then there. And yeah, that's okay for point guard. We want shooting guard now, and we'll take out a few minutes there. And then Barnes in. Now for the garbage time, yeah, Swanigan. Here's the problem with having those 3 is I don't have any minutes to give away. I'd like to see Bull develop a little bit, so I'm going to take some minutes away from Dedman and let Bull have maybe 4 minutes here. And I'm going to give him that. Holmes. I don't think we need Malik Beasley taking time necessarily. But positionally, we don't have much of a choice, do we? Okay. We'll go with that. Not sure I'm a fan of De'Aaron Fox playing 40 a night either, so how about we get... Well, Beasley can't play. It's got to be Joseph. He's the only backup point guard I've got. How about we go there a little bit early, first quarter. That way everybody's 36-38 a night. Okay, default. That's rookie class for the upcoming season. I'll go with the default one on that. Of course, I do have the Draft Day Sports college basketball, but it's the 2019. 2020 hasn't come out yet. And this one would rely on the 2020. So since it's not there, there's no connection. Can't use it. And that's okay. I think I'd probably go with default anyway. It's hard to get that to cooperate with one another. As I was saying last episode, I anticipate that we are going to be better this season than last. In fact, with the new depth chart as we are ready to start the season, the Clippers, one of the league favorites, right? The Clippers, we are favored over them 52-48. Yes, we're at home, okay? I get that. That's a contributing factor. But if we're favored over the Clippers at home, something is going right. And this roster is going the right direction. And as pointed out last time, our core, the starters, are young. Our oldest starter is 27. So we're definitely leaning towards a good young core with a lot of potential. Buddy Hield, the other one that's at 27, has already kind of peaked development-wise. But still, it's a good sign. It's a good hint that we can make things happen. Now, the experiment of a shooting guard at small forward shouldn't be a big deal, but we'll see how that goes in the early days of the season. Speaking of early days of the season, it is time to get the season underway. Knicks, Pacers, Grizzlies, Warriors to play the opening day of the season. The Warriors start off with a win against the Grizzlies, and on day 2, do we have a game? We do not. Lakers defending champions. There's our first game finally with the Clippers. Third day of the season, October 19th, at home. We go AI control, of course. I'm not the coach of the team, I'm the GM. Though you can do both. Going up against Leonard and George. They're joined in their starting lineup by Harold, Shamet, and Patrick Beverly. And as always, this game seems to not recognize game speed until after the first dead ball or 2. Whew. Clippers' first shot of the season by Kawhi Leonard is a 3-pointer that he's going to make, and then we turn it over, which leads to the fast break bucket. We're down 5-0 inside the first 50 seconds of the season. Not the kind of start we were hoping for at all. And no dead ball. Another 3 by Leonard. He's 2 for 2 beyond the arc with 6 points already. Yikes. Speaking of 3-pointers, my Oregon Ducks, my alma mater, the women's team, which is potentially the favorite for the national championship this year, they had a player with 10 3-pointers in their game last night. That was something. 10 threes in a game. There we go. Now it's going to start picking up the pace. Trail 8-0 early on, so hopefully it could start picking up what the normal options are and not stop every 2 seconds. Starting to fight our way back into the game a little bit. 11-5. Options. I don't want you to pause at all stops. And I want to enable auto sub. Apparently a new season and it goes back to old habits. But yeah, 10 threes in a game, I mean, that by itself is already 30 points. Which, by the way, I think was her total for the game. But it wasn't Sabrina Ionescu. It wasn't Ruthie Hebert. And it wasn't Sable either. I mean, it was, oh gosh, was it Jaeger? I don't remember who it was now. But we are struggling mightily here in the first quarter of our first game of the season, trailing 36-20 with Kawhi Leonard just lighting up the scoreboard with 15 points. He might have even scored right there in the last play of the half before he was subbed out, which would have made it 17 points in the first quarter, let alone the first half. But here in the second quarter, we go on a bit of a run, and it's now a 3-point game. Fought our way back into this one. Let's hope the team can continue that trend. Apparently, the difference maker was Leonard, as him subbing out has made all the difference. George himself also with 13 points. We cannot handle their dominance. But here, halfway through the second quarter, we see our first lead of the game, and it's 50-45. Buddy Hield with 10 points. Jake Walker, our rookie, with 9 on 3 of 3 shooting. De'Aaron Fox has 6 points, 4 assists already in this game. Willie Cauley-Stein with 6 rebounds. I'm happy we were able to get him signed, as I'm hoping anyway that he'll be a definite upgrade from Dedmon last season, who was player that drove me nuts most of the year. 18 points for Leonard. I think it drove me nuts not so much on how he played, but more so on the fact that I just could not move his contract no matter what I did. So he drove me nuts in that sense as a GM. And it is halftime, and we lead 64-59. So after a 10-point deficit at the end of the first, a 15-point advantage with a 38-point quarter gives us a 5-point halftime lead. Let's see if we can continue into the second half, carry on this way, and claim our first victory of the season. Like I was saying last episode, I do think that this team is better than last year's team, and therefore should be capable of picking up a few more wins anyway compared to last year, which was 42. I'd like to see us 45 plus. I'm not sure we'll get to 50 plus. I don't think we're that good yet, but I do think we are a 45 plus win team. Maybe in that neighborhood of 46, 47 wins would be my early prediction right now. And against a very good Clippers squad who are fighting back here in the third quarter, we have a 1-point ball game. Jake Walker, 23 points on 6 of 7 shooting. Somehow at the point right now, that's got to be a foul trouble situation that has us with Walker playing point guard instead of the designed setup. He's got 28 points, so okay, go for it. Keep scoring, buddy. Keep scoring. Now 31, 8 of 11 shooting, 92-89 with 2 minutes left in the third. Regular rotation's not happening right now, so I do think, well, it's not entirely up to me anyway. It's up to our head coach. But we wrap up the third quarter. Clippers do get a score right at the end to cut the lead, but we will enter the fourth quarter with a little bit of a lead. Rebounding-wise, teams are basically level. Blocks are level. Steals, yeah, we have 16 turnovers to their 7. That is definitely hurting us today. Field goal percentage is nice, 54% to their 46. We've got a bit of an advantage there. We've got to the free throw line a lot more and have made 31 of 34 attempts from the line. That's a massive boost to us. Both teams have pulled up from beyond the arc a lot. Nearly half of either team's shots have been beyond the arc. We have 13 makes, they have 14 makes, but that has become a very, very big part of this game, and it's 108 with 5 minutes to play. Anybody's game right now. De'Aaron Fox back in there. He does have 4 fouls, so that was clearly why he went to the bench. Barnes has been picking up some minutes. Be nice if we can get our star player back out there as Fox gets into double digits finally. 6 assists now. His 5th foul. Bagley has 5 fouls. Final minute. We trail by 1. Trail by 2. Tie game. 16 seconds. And we've got the lead. they're going to tie it up, send it to overtime. Overtime. Walker finally back into the game here in overtime. He didn't play at all. He's got no fouls. What was he doing on the bench that whole time? You don't trust your rookie, huh? He's got 35 points. 2 minutes to go in overtime, and the deficit is growing. So a game that could have or should have been won. I would say that leaving Walker out in those final minutes was a key component. His very first game, and he's going to have 44 points, though we do end up coming up on the losing end, as Paul George and Kawhi Leonard both with 40 apiece. Better than 40 apiece. However, they did shoot the ball 47 times combined. That's a lot of shots. Walker only had 17 attempts. He just happened to be 13 of 17 with 5 rebounds to make up his 44 points. So he had far, far fewer attempts than the two Clippers stars. Hield, meanwhile, contributing a steady 22. Barnes off the bench with 10, 8 rebounds for him as well. Nearly pulls off the double-double. He picked up a lot of the minutes when there was foul trouble, and you could see that we had a ton of foul trouble throughout that game. Willie Cauley-Stein, double-double in his first appearance for the team, and we very nearly pull off the win, but it goes to overtime, and we lose by 10 there. And again, I think a lot of it came down to the absence of Walker through much of the game. He just sat out long stretches after playing point guard for a long stretch, and I get it, minutes or so much, but he only ended up with 28 minutes. And that does not appear to be the starting lineup that I had selected at all. It looks like it's reverted back. Oh, it most definitely has. I do have the option to give control to the coach, and he is taking control and taking it right out of my hands, and Walker scores 44 points off the bench. It looks like he's now picking up minutes anywhere and everywhere, and keeping him out of the starting lineup is an absolute travesty. Second game of the season on a back-to-back, we travel away to Phoenix. Can't win on the road, but Fox gets 28 points and 8 assists in the game. And we open the season 0-2. And I go through all that trouble to create the depth chart only to have the coach undermine me and say, no, I'm the coach here, not you. Well, you're 0-2. Might not be the coach much longer if you don't play the man I want you to play. Superstar potential. Don't think he's got superstar. Okay. That's power forward Danny Jackson. Get a long ways before the draft. We're only a couple games into the season, but let's see. Early rank. Danny Jackson picked at 10 right now. If I'm looking at what we have, center would definitely be a place we would like to use a draft pick. Small forward is still a vacancy. Buddy Hield won't be here forever. He will be used as trade bait in the near future, as he's not going to improve. So really, the two guys, three core players I think are set on this roster because of their age, because of their potential. De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley, and Jake Walker. That is the true core to this team. So, point guard, shooting guard, power forward, locked in. Buddy Hield, can be traded. Willie Cauley-Stein can be traded. Anybody below, all available. 3 players or not. And a lot of potential between those 3. A lot of teams don't have anything like this. Can we get our first win? We've got the Rockets up next. 0-3. Boy, if you do not play your best player, you might be out of a job here sooner rather than later. Again, Walker off the bench, 12 points, 4 of 10 shooting. It was a human day for him. And he fouled out. Bagley with 27. Could be going for a trade sooner rather than later, especially if they're losing. I'm not opposed to another year of losing. Here's what happens if we have a year of losing, right? I offload Heald and Cauley-Stein and Deadman and Joseph and anybody that I can that has mid-level quality. Get what draft picks I can. Try to get ourselves into that lottery like we were this year to add another core piece to this team and continue to build for the future. Because those 3 core players, they're still going to be young next year. They're still going to be developing. We don't need to win now. So it's okay that they're 0-3 right now. 0-4. Boy, oh boy, though, you gotta be looking at the fact that your superstar is on the bench, and in his first game, came out and scored 44 points off the bench, left out in the key time where you could have won that game. I mean, I'm just, it's one game though. One game does not define a career. Nets up next. Finally, they get their first win of the season. A little bit slow off the mark on that one. Blazers, they're just 1-4. Make that 2-4. Lillard with 23 points. Nurkic with 25. Slow start to the season. But like I said, that actually could be a good thing. Now, I've seen this in the Wolverine Studios game library on numerous occasions. Here's how things work when you have a manager like this, when you're starting from the bottom. Right? In just 1 year, I got strategy from a 1 to a 43. So there is some development. However, what I have seen happen so many times is that first year, even when you try to tank that first year, it doesn't necessarily work and you find success. Things go well. How do I put this? That first year, what you have left over seems to always outperform expectations. And then the second year, reality begins to hit. The low ratings that you begin with really don't show their ugly face until the second year. Now, these developed quite a lot for just 1 year. A lot for 1 year. I'm really surprised how much they developed, but I'm happy with that. For comparison's sake, college football one. I went through 6 seasons and started with all ones and hadn't developed this much in any category after 6 seasons as we did in just 1 year. So it's a good thing because it was taking too long in that game to develop. This might be a little full, but it's okay. Let's see here. Yeah, 1-5. Bucks are just 2-5. How did they get like that? Well, they fixed it. Giannis 30 points, but Fox had 35 and 9. No sign of Walker on the score sheet recently, so I have a feeling that he is still coming off the bench. Just 18 minutes. 6 of 15. 4 of 9 beyond the arc, though. 17 points. One of our top scorers. Equal on second best on the day off the bench, which, I mean, it's not bad having bench minutes. Craig not playing. Okay. Oh, it's because Holmes and Dedman are. And then Walker, Beasley. There's your mix. You got Walker, Beasley, 2 shooting guards. One of them essentially playing small forward, rotating through. Brook Lopez with 27 in the game. Only 4 rebounds, though. Interesting. Quiet day for him on the boards. However, if I think I know how the Bucks play, he's more of a box out, get the rebound to your teammate kind of guy. 6-2 Thunder. Oh, if they rebounded so quick. We finally get one. Steven Adams, their top scorer in the game. Nope. Gallinari had 22. '76ers. They're off to a 7-1 start to the season. Now things are picking up a little bit at 3-6. Fox putting up 35 again, 12 assists. He is really continually putting up big numbers to start this season. Let's go and take a look at the standings for the first time. Actually, are we at 9 games? We are at 9 games. No, let's do one more. One more. We're going to make our first break point in the season here at 10 games. And here it is. We've got the Mavericks. They are 6-3. I think that's 7-3. Fox with 29 again. So he's Jake Walker, 29 points. So he's starting to step up. I'd like to see him break into the starting lineup. I mean, obviously, I already tried to make it happen. And I could force it. I mean, I could manually do it. But I do have a coach for a reason. He's the coach of the team. I'm the manager. I bring the players in. He does with them what I choose. I have the right to fire him if he doesn't do what I want him to do. And right now he's not. So right now he's certainly running that risk. Speaking of Luke Walton, let's see. He has 2 years remaining on his contract. This is the one guy whose contract is set to expire this year. You can see how much better Jimmy Strange is than the other coaches. They were all 2 stars, all 3 of them. And see, even I have a couple 2-star categories now. Let's see here. Standings was what I wanted to check. Celtics 72, 76ers are 72. Good start by quite a few teams there in the East, especially in the Atlantic Division outside of the Raptors, who have not won a game yet. You can see hot and cold in the Eastern Conference. The Hawks, after signing 1 billion players in the offseason, opened the season at 9-1. What is their roster looking like? Trae Young, John Collins, and Cousins, DeAndre Hunter, but that's it, and they're 9-1. Mavericks, the Jazz starting hot. The Clippers are 9-0, and we apparently have been the closest to beating them. Came down to that last moment. Lakers 6-3, so they're not the same team this year. 3-7, slow start, but I do think it'll pick up. I really do. I don't think we're as bad as that record suggests. However, I already saw there was a significant difference, at least a few percentage points, between Barnes starting and Walker starting. All right, well, before we get too deep into anything else, that's the opening to the season. We're going to push a little bit further, a little bit more quickly through the next couple episodes. I'm less likely to make a lot of trades now as I was last year. I am the general manager, but okay, fine. Fine, be that way. General manager. Oh, maybe it's because I was still on Atlanta. That could be it. Yeah, there you go. See how it works. Anyway, there's not going to be as much action in the trade front as there was a year ago, but I still, especially depending on how that record goes, I still might make a move or two this season, especially if we're losing some games. We'll offload a couple of those talented guys. Buddy Hield, there's going to be teams willing to take on his contract for sure. As a quality player that could get us, could net some first-round picks or some young talent with potential. And that's what I want. It's okay if we lose some games now. I'd like to make the playoffs, but it's okay if we don't. I'm fine with this being a rebuilding year. That is going to do it for this episode and the start to this new season. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.